What is going on, Great Lakes Laser Supply? How's everybody doing tonight? We are going to have two giveaways this evening. We are going to do one for people watching live and one for the replay. So keep watching till the end to get eyes on both of those giveaways. We are going to have two giveaways. One for those watching live and one for watching the replay. We'll talk about how that goes a little bit later. We are going to be talking about when to say no. All right, we are streaming in all locations. Let me just check this out on Facebook so I can see the comments. So again, we are going to be talking about when to say no. Good night, honey. I love you. We are going to be talking about when to say no. If you have taken an order or done an order that you should have said no to, throw yes in the comments. Say yes in the comments if you have taken on an order that you should have said no to. All right. I cannot get the comments to come up. If you are watching, do me a favor, throw something in the comments that you are watching so I can see that those are working properly. I still do not see the comments for some reason. See it here. It looks like I'm live. Okay, there we go. I see it now. Let me turn off audio. Perfect. What's up, Roy? We are live and streaming. So just to go over a couple things I said while I was getting ready, trying to multitask. If you are watching and you have taken an order that you should have said no to, whether you realize that in process at the end, throw yes in the comments. If you have taken on an order that you did not have the bandwidth for, you didn't have the equipment for, and this goes for if you're watching on the replay or if you're watching live. So we are also going to be doing two different giveaways tonight. We're going to be doing a giveaway for somebody watching live and one for people watching the replay. So stay tuned until the end. This is just going to be a short 30-minute video on when to say no to an order. And again, if that's happened to you, throw yes in the comments. If you are watching, let me know where you're watching from. I know where Roy's watching from. Terry, what's going on? How are you? I just got home from the office and barely made it in time to go live. I literally could go live at exactly 8:45 p.m. So I was right on time. Normally, I'm like an early is on time kind of person. On time is late, but I made it just in time. So let me know where you guys are watching from. Let's see. So we're going to be going over quite a few different things on when you should say no, if you should have said no, and why to say no. We've been doing this now for almost 6 years, and there's things I do today where I should have said no. Terry's watching from Seattle. Roy is in South Carolina. And so if some of these specifically, if they apply to you, I want you to go ahead and, throw it in the comments. If you want to get more specific, I want there to be some engagement even after this video is pushed out and people are watching it later on. People can relate to each other. The whole goal of Great Lakes Laser Supply is for us all to truly grow in business together. That is my goal. I want each of you to learn from each other. I want you to learn from me and my mistakes, and I want to learn from you guys because I guarantee that there is something that has happened to you guys that hasn't happened to me yet, and it's a lesson that I still need to learn. So don't hesitate to throw those in there. What's up, Jay? How are you doing? Thank you for being here. First one, I think, is maybe pretty low on the list, but equipment capability. Maybe it's something that your equipment can't do. Maybe you're thinking about taking on a job and you're thinking about buying a piece of equipment just to do that job. I know that's happened to me. I started doing UV printed hat clips and I was going to have David do those hat clips. and it just wasn't realistic. So much unpacking and packing. Um, it was more than, I think David signed up for. He told me today he was originally joking about it, but he wishes that the short amount of the tiny quantity of hat clips that David actually printed for me, he wished that he would have not done. It's a lot of work unpacking and packing. So, first one, your equipment can't quite do it, but you say yes anyway. Maybe that means you're purchasing something. Maybe that means you struggle with the piece of equipment. I know that that's happened to me. So that is number one. The equipment you have can't quite do the job you took on. Terry said a fireman's axe. Glad I did it. Great learning experience. Definitely did not charge enough. I assume, Terry, that was some deep engraving in there. So yeah, and that's one reason, like, I get a lot of requests for challenge coins, like for one or two challenge coins, and people don't want to pay the amount of work that goes in to do those. I assume that's what the axe was like. By the time you do that depth engraving, it's 100, 150, 400 passes to do those deep engravings. It takes a lot of time in designing the file. So I can only imagine what that axe was like. What's up, Corey? How are you doing? Just a reminder, as we got a couple more people here, we are doing two giveaways tonight. We'll be giving away one pack of hat clips to somebody watching live and someone in the replay, and a kneeling. Wow. And then another one at the end of the video for people that are watching the replay. And don't forget to engage if you're watching this on the replay. Number 2, I think, is probably close to people's number 1, that they should have said yes or should have said no to, and that's, unrealistic turnaround times. How many times, I think just last week alone, that I got a message, "Hey, can you do a wedding cake knife and serving, knife?" And, "Oh, okay, when do you need it by?" Friday." Like, literally, that happens all the time. Unrealistic turnaround times. "Can I get this tomorrow? Can I get this by Friday?" And we all have you might have a day job, you might have other orders that you've got stacked up that you should be working on, and those unrealistic turnaround times, like, it's gonna put you in a situation where you're not gonna do good work. You're gonna be rushed. The customer is rushed. You're maybe not getting the proof that you should. Show them what it's gonna look like. Maybe some of these other things are still gonna come into play because you're getting a one-off item from a customer that they want back in an extremely short amount of time. And I think saying no to some of those, like, "Hey, keep me in mind in the future, but unfortunately, I can't turn this around in 24 or 48 hours and give you the high quality product that I would like to." So keep that in mind. That is number 2. Probably number 1. Maybe we should put these in an order at the end and see where we think that each of these rank. Which one is number 1 that we should have said no to? Materials you don't stock. I think there are some people, two types of businesses where you keep things on hand, and some businesses where you're ordering things as you need them. And that's why we try to ship orders the next day. So if an order comes in before 10 a.m., that's most of the time going to ship the same day. But if you're ordering something after 10 a.m., then that's going to ship out the next day. But so that's why I know some of you are in that situation where maybe you're ordering things as the customers. My Facebook is blowing up. um where you're placing those orders, you don't have enough time to place those orders. So if it's something that you don't have, you don't stock, you don't have experience with, I think that's another time you got to say no. um because I have a feeling, and I know for me, that a lot of these things I should have said no to, there's probably been some red flags. They're asking you for one, they're showing you one, two, and even three red flags sometimes. So it's something you don't stock, something you don't have experience with. It's a one-off item. Something that I said no to today were some toasting glasses for a wedding. I did do the cake serving spoon and the knife, but I did not do the crystal because I have no experience with that crystal. I can't turn that around. I can't get another one to replace it if something happened to that crystal. So materials you don't stock. That is number 3. Let's see what else we got here. Hey Heidi, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. I think number 4, I've got poor like descriptions of what the customer is looking for. Molly is currently dealing with this with a customer where, they said one thing, they sent a screenshot from Google, and then they want her to, provide that item. She's been going back and forth with this customer for 3 days, and they're just now getting dialed in on what she's actually looking for. Molly's even done some test engraving, and Molly's like, "I just don't have time for this." And that's another situation where the customer isn't giving you all that information up front. When they reach out to you with something, you got to ask, when do you need this by? You want to make sure that they know exactly what they want engraved. One thing, almost to a fault, is I have them send me the text so that I can copy and paste it. At least twice, that copy and paste method from the customer has got me into trouble. I finished this door hanger with a word across it, like the name of a farm, and it was misspelled. Customer came to pick it up, and I had even sent this customer a proof, and they approved the proof. But when they came to pick it up, they realized that they sent me the wrong text. It was misspelled, and they approved the proof when it was misspelled. So make sure you are going over those specifications very thoroughly with the customer, that you are on the same page of exactly what they're looking for. And if they can't give you all that information in a timely manner, that's going to be a red flag and somebody that you maybe should have said no to. Something on the list when I was trying to come up with 10 full things that you should say no to. One of those is copywritten stuff. Somebody's gonna do you're gonna make something for something with a team, with a slogan. I made the America 250 hat clips at first. I didn't realize it was trademarked. I posted a video, I posted comments, I had them live on the website, and somebody said, "Hey, did you know that that's trademarked?" So I pulled those America 250 hat clips. I gave some of them out in orders, but you've got to do your research and try to stay away from doing that stuff because it's just never going to end well. You don't want somebody showing the wrong person, you get in trouble, whether it's legal trouble or just a bad reputation. That's something you got to stay away from. And don't worry about if other people are doing it at a craft show or something else. Just stay away from anything that's copywritten and things you shouldn't be engraving that's not your property. And number 6 is low profit margins. Um, I will say for this one, the only exception that I do, and it's almost a marketing strategy, is in a situation where it's giving me the opportunity to learn something that I actually want to do in the future. That's the only time I'll intentionally kind of give somebody a deal or a discount to where I'm not going to have a margin. But in most cases, like the axe that you mentioned, um stay away from those things that you're not going to make money on. Like that's why, like with the challenge coins, I stopped. I tell them right up front, it's pretty expensive, and if you're only on one or two, it's not really going to be something that's going to be good for me as a business to do for you. So unfortunately, that's why like challenge coins are something that I say no to. I know sometimes the low profit margins can be self-inflicted. So that's why it's important to kind of talk about your pricing, but that's a whole nother thing. We can get into it a later time, just talking about pricing, but making sure you're accounting for your time, charging accordingly, so you have good margins on the things that you're doing for people. If you're buying a Yeti for 40, $50 and you're only charging 5 or 10 bucks, that's going to get you into trouble. What if you've got to account for that tumbler that you're going to mess up, or something happens to? So make sure you've got your margins accordingly. You're charging accordingly so that you are making the appropriate margin to account for equipment and mess ups and things like that. Number 7, I've got production volumes. Um, I think Freddie and I were recently talking about this in a Facebook post, going back and forth a little bit about production volumes. Sometimes people, they want to go for wholesale and have much larger quantities. Sometimes you're going for, one-offs, but you have to take the production volume, you've got to charge accordingly. I have a target hourly rate, for example, if the laser is running. And it's that same number whether I'm doing one of something or 200 of something. Now, when you're doing 200, you just get more efficient because you can typically load your laser up with multiple items. So that's a case where your price is going to get better with the larger volume because you're doing more at a time. But make sure production volume is not going to get you into trouble by doing too low of a price when you're doing a smaller quantity. Hey Kim, how are you doing? Thank you for being here. I'm glad you're here. Our goal with Great Lakes Scissor Supply is to grow in business together. That's why I talk about stuff like this. I could just be on here talking about, our products and things like that. But my passion is helping you guys to be successful. I want to teach you the things that I've learned, and I want you guys to learn from each other. So, don't hesitate to engage here in the chat and then also on the Facebook group, because that's the real goal is I want us all to grow together. I don't ever just want to sell somebody something. I want you to know how to be successful selling those things. And I want you to be able to take the techniques that you learn from selling a hat clip to other products, that fit into what you do. Also, we are going to be giving away 2 packs of hat clips tonight. We are going to be giving one away to somebody watching live and someone watching on the replay. So make sure you guys are watching until the end so you can win a pack of hat clips. Stay away from copyright. Not worth losing everything. I agree, Maria. Heidi, yes, absolutely. I see so many people making stuff that they shouldn't. I agree. You walk around at a craft show and it's crazy. It kind of blows my mind sometimes. All right. Number 8, safety. I'd say PVC comes up a lot. I'd say at least once a week, somebody's talking to me about, well, I'm just going to try to do this one little thing that has PVC or might have PVC. I'm not sure. I'm like, well, you need to really understand what that does for your laser. And a part of safety also is knowing what you're engraving. That's why sometimes getting these one-off things from a customer, you don't know what that's made from. So you don't know if that's safe for your laser. You don't know if it's safe for you and your home or your business. There's residual smoke and stuff left behind. So safety is something on there for a lot of different reasons. I've seen people try to do Kydex with a CO2 laser and it just melts. Acrylic safety comes into play with acrylic. If you don't have adequate fume extraction, that stinks up your house. You can have a fire if you don't have good air assist. So safety is definitely a concern, which really a lot of things come into play with that too. Business framework fit. Does what the customer is asking you to do fit into the things that you want to do in your business? That can have so many different applications, but whether that's something that you've never done before, whether that's the inappropriate stuff. There's, for a while, I told Molly I didn't want to do some of the inappropriate hats and stuff. We've kept it pretty clean with the ones we do, but I do enjoy seeing, people laugh and have fun with some of that stuff. But that can come into play too. Does that fit into your business model? Is that something that you want to get into? Does what they're asking you to make really align with your long-term vision for your brand? And even for Great Lakes, that comes into play all the time. I'll get messages from people with them saying, hey, can you carry the golf bag tags? Can you carry a ton of different things? But one of the main things that comes to mind is the golf bag tags. And anytime I'm looking at new products, things that I want to carry at Great Lakes, I'm putting myself in your shoes. What kind of margins are you guys going to be able to make? And just using the golf bag tag as an example, it really applies to a lot of these different things that I'm thinking. With the golf bag tag, how much are you really going to sell that for to your end customer? How much is somebody going to pay for that golf bag tag? And second, what kind of volume? Are you going to be able to sell 10, 20, 30 golf bag tags? And how many are you ever going to be able to sell them in bulk? I think that's going to be few and far between with a golf bag tag. So that was just something that, I got samples, I liked them, but I just couldn't see it as a product where you guys could be, successful kind of building that business. With a lot of new laser makers, I like to break that down a little bit differently. Even if, let's say somebody's wanting to do cutting boards, I break the cutting boards down. How many cutting boards would you have to sell per week to make $100,000 in sales per year? And if you take that number and apply it to different things, cutting boards, I could probably come up with a business strategy for selling just cutting boards to have $100,000 in sales per year. I think that's a realistic item to do that with. When you think about the golf bag tag, how many golf bag tags would you have to sell a week to have $100,000 in sales per year? So that's kind of my thought process as I'm thinking about fitting your business with products. I'm not just thinking about me. How many hat clips can I sell to you? I'm thinking, how can you sell a hat clip and hat clips in a volume that's going to give you $100,000 in sales? And again, not just in hat clips, but I want to take those skills that you learn with the hat clip. I see it as a training tool and apply that to other products so that you guys can be successful. Who else we got watching here? Yes, I stay away from copyright. Could not agree more. I support my local artists and fully believe in purchasing commercial rights from those artists. I did just have somebody request that I get the rights to print um, military and logos and things. And I did a little bit of research, and it's something I'm going to look into. But I don't even know, how does that work? You guys buying it from me, then do you have to be licensed? I assume that you would. So I don't know that that's really an avenue I'm going to go down. I think it would probably have to be an individual type of thing where I was only selling those to someone else that also had a license. Maria, not a big fan of wholesale either. Margins are too low for the work. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, Maria, I would say I disagree a little bit. I think, let's say I'm doing 10 hats or 100 hats or 500 hats. Um, you get to set your pricing. I don't think you've got to compete with somebody that's doing hats for 10 bucks a hat. I think you can kind of decide, what that margin's going to be. All right, number 10. After number 10, we'll be doing some giveaways. If you are here and watching and you've experienced any of these things, you should have said no. Throw yes in the comments. Let's push this out to a couple more people for the giveaway. And I'm going to be doing a giveaway for one person watching live and one person watching on the replay. So if you are here and watching and you've experienced any of these we talked about so far, throw yes in the comments, and I will pick somebody that says yes to get a free pack of hat clips. Number 10, and I feel like we've already talked about it a little bit, and that's unfamiliar products or techniques. Um, and I think if that's something that you want to learn, that could be one thing, but you get to a point where you're excited that somebody reached out to you. You're excited to do that thing. But if you've never done depth engraving on a axe, or you've never done a full wrap on a tumbler, is now the time to say yes? Or is that something that you should learn on your own time and not when you've got a customer that is, looking to have that thing in 3 days? So things you don't know how to do. I think that's probably when you're in a new laser engraver, you got to be strategic with doing things you've never done before. Um, and that's why my strategy with things I've never done before is typically to post on my personal Facebook. Hey guys, I've got this new thing that I'm learning. Who wants a discount on a cutting board? I'm looking to sell a cutting board with a custom engraving for half off. That gives you an opportunity to learn that item on your own time. It gets your word out there on something that you're going to be doing, and it generates some sales. So that way you're not just practicing on a cutting board that you're going to give away. It at least allows you to learn something like that. So if it's an unfamiliar technique, do it on your terms and figure out how to do it the best that you can on your own without putting yourself in a compromising situation for the customer. Let's see who is all here. Bulk or wholesale? Bulk I do all day, but wholesale is usually, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Wholesale is more for resale, so you're gonna have lower pricing. I agree with you on that, Maria. That was my fault. Brian, what's up? How's it going? Have you gotten any of your orders yet? You should have gotten at least one of them by last weekend. All right. So I try to keep these lives short and sweet because I want to be able to go live with you guys often, and keeping it to about 30 minutes going live with you guys gives me the opportunity to kind of keep it short and sweet. Doesn't cut into my family time, your family time. I've got 4 kids, and it keeps me busy. So I want to be able to do this and connect with you guys on more of a personal level so that we can make all these connections. What's up, Tracy? It's about time you show up. Early is on time, on time's late. Thank you for being here. So if you guys are watching, throw yes in the comments. Even if you are here and watching and you haven't heard everything so far, throw yes in the comments. I'm going to pick somebody that says yes to get a free pack of hack clips. If you're just getting here, Tracy, you'll have to watch the replay. But I guess while everybody's commenting yes, we can go over some of these real quick and maybe rate them. So number 1, equipment capability mismatch. Number 2, unrealistic turnaround times. 3, material that you don't stock, which I think also includes, getting a one-off from the customer. 4, poor communication, poor specs from the customer where you're not sure even what they want, which Molly is dealing with right now. Number 5, copywritten products. Number 6, low profit margins. Number 7, unfeasible production times, production volumes. And that can go a lot of different ways. Number 8, safety. Number 9, does it fit into your business? And number 10, unfamiliar techniques. I think if I'm rating these, I'm thinking turnaround times is probably the one I get most often that I should say no to. And I think profit margins maybe number 2, but sometimes that's self-inflicted. So that just a quick rundown of all 10 of the things that you should say no to, and I can relate. Literally happened to me today. So let's give away a pack of hack clips. Watch for scams. Michael, I don't feel like I'm trying to think if I've gotten scammed or somebody tried to scam me. I think I'm a little different than a lot of people. We typically collect payment up front unless it's literally a friend. Number 11, all of the above. I think a lot of those can go hand in hand and they happen at the same time. Can I get it tomorrow? And can I just bring you this random tumbler that I got from Goodwill? Yeah, happens all the time. I think they happen in combinations a lot. But I don't think that I've ever been scammed, Michael. Like I said, I try to collect payment up front for most things. That typically doesn't get me into trouble. Roy says his top 3 are 1, safety, 2, copyright, and 3, unrealistic turnaround times. So you're saying that happens to you most frequently? And maybe I should have explained that. I was thinking and how often that they happen. Maybe importance, from Roy, maybe that's what Roy is saying. Safety should be most important, and then copyright, and then unrealistic turnaround times. I think that makes sense. They almost got you same way they did Michael at Laser Engraving. Okay. I guess I'm not sure of the scam you're talking about. Payment up front or at least half for larger orders. I agree. All right. Let's pick somebody for the giveaway. Facebook makes this more and more complicated. Oh, awesome. That's good, Brian. I'm glad you got those. Gotta copy all the names out of here. Thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, importance. That makes sense. That's kind of what I assumed when you put safety first. Safety is important. Oh no, I just spilled on my desk. Paste the list of names. All right. We have got a free pack of hack clips for Corey Barger. Corey Barger, shoot me a PM with your address. I think I do have it, but shoot me a PM so that reminds me to ship those out to you. I will get those packed up and shipped out to you tonight. Corey Berger, thank you for being here. And again, I try to keep these lives short and sweet. So if you got things you want to talk about, topics, things that are really important, some of the posts that I put in Great Lakes Scissor Supply is to give me some topics to talk about. I look at some of those conversational things that I try to use for teaching for all of us to give me some topics and things to talk about, because typically if it's happened to you, it's happening to somebody else. All right, now last, if you are watching on the replay, this doesn't apply to everybody watching now, only on the replay, you're going to comment replay and the time that you're watching so that I can see that your comment was at the same time. So if you are watching this on the replay, throw replay in the comments with the time that you're watching, and I will pick another winner for somebody to get another pack of hack clips. I really appreciate all you guys being here. You know, genuinely from the bottom of my heart, our goal is to grow in business together. It's never just to sell you guys something. So don't ever hesitate to reach out if you are having an issue with something, questions, concerns. Where is David? Oh, that's funny. He's always late. He is not a timely person. I did talk to him like 10 times today. He was supposed to run to Chicago and then ended up not having to run to Chicago. But you broke my train of thought. I appreciate you guys. I really do. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and we wouldn't have the success that we do with Great Lakes Scissor Supply without all of you. So I appreciate you guys. And again, if you're watching on the replay the time that you were here, and throw that comment in there, and I'll pick another winner. Thank you guys. Have a great evening. Make good choices. I appreciate you. No, Tracy. It's only 9:16. Have a good night, guys. Bye.